The man knew the son in front of him wasn't his biological child, yet he still raised him to adulthood. Even after the son grew up, he gave all the company's assets to his son. But right after the son inherited the company, he immediately abandoned the man and turned to his biological father's embrace. On the surface, the man looked extremely shocked, but in reality, all of this was part of his plan. Turns out, back when his wife was pregnant, the man accidentally discovered his wife had become secret lovers with his secretary. But the man didn't directly expose their secret because the man had many layers of identity. On the surface, he was just the CEO of Company B, but in fact, he was also the chairman of the world's top company A. If he divorced his wife outright, then his wife would get half his wealth. Not only would he never let this woman who betrayed him get a single dollar, he would personally send her and his secretary straight to hell. So a more complex and lengthy plan was born in the man's heart. That day, the secretary came to the man's house again. On the surface, it was to bring the man a gift, but in reality, it was to see his wife and son. At this time, the son was already 16, and the man had spoiled him since childhood, but the son was never close to the man. Instead, he was very close with the secretary. Whenever this happened, the wife would step in and urge the man to be more tolerant, and the man gladly accepted her persuasion. At that moment, the son was off to the side playing video games out of boredom. The wife couldn't help but urge the son to study harder, but the son didn't care at all. After all, he was his father's only son. Even if he didn't study, he'd still inherit the fortune one day. The wife immediately looked nervously at the man, but to her surprise, the man agreed with the son's words. Whether or not the son got into college, he would still let the son inherit all his wealth. The wife immediately smiled. She exchanged a glance with the secretary, as if mocking the man's foolish ignorance. The man saw all of these changes clearly, but only he knew that he was deliberately spoiling his son excessively. He wanted his son to neglect studying, so he'd grow up to be a useless good-for-nothing. That way, the first step of his plan would be complete. Years later, the son finally grew up, and the man kept his promise to hand over the company. That day, the man was holding a press conference to announce the good news to the public. He handed the equity transfer agreement to his son. As long as the son signed his name, the company would belong to him. The son signed the agreement without hesitation, and the crowd clapped and celebrated. But right at that moment, the secretary suddenly stepped forward. He pulled out a paternity test result and announced to everyone present that the man wasn't the son's biological father. He, the secretary, was. Everyone was stunned. They rushed up to confirm if the test was real. The man also looked utterly confused, and the secretary actually took the wife's hand and flaunted it smugly at the man. The reporters present quickly caught on. Didn't that mean the secretary was the homewrecker? And yet here he was, showing off in public.